Hey guys, Guns Football here, back with another video. And today's video is I'm doing the NPL predicting the Northern Premier League Premier Division league table for the 2022-2023 season, as the season starts tomorrow, as all clubs kick off at 3 p.m. Finally, this league is underway. I'm going to be ranking them in categories from 22nd up to top. As we go on, all the predictions I've got here might all be wrong, but it's just personally what I think. Disagreements over the predictions are legal. It's about having an opinion on them. On the Facebook group on the NPL, I've been having discussions with people about it and on what they disagree with me. There's a lot of disagreement with me on two of the teams that I mentioned now. So right at the start for 22nd place, we've got Liversedge. A lot of people have said to me they won't go down, but I don't really know much about the club. I know they finished top of they're from the West Yorkshire and they won the NPL Premier Division East Division last season, step for one step below 3, which is our current league. Personally, if there is any chance of them staying up, it's going to be all the other signings have probably got in, which I don't really know too much about, but it's either James Walsall, who's played for Halifax, Guiseley, Altrincham, Harrogate, Farsley, Scarborough, Radcliffe, Buxton and Aston United. Ever since he left Scarborough, he's been all over the place. He's about 36, the guy now, but he has loads of experience, so that's why I think he's going to be their hope this season. A lot of people think Liversedge are going to surprise the league. They could surprise the league, I might be wrong, but I'm going to stick with my predictions because if you change them I could be wrong. Right, to 21st place now, we got Moskey United, who got promoted with Liversedge out of the league, and they won the playoffs. Moskey did another one that people have been arguing with me about, saying that they're not going to go down and they're going to be a really good team. Well, I know last season their best player was Adam Boyce, and I don't know whether they'll stay up this season, but this is just a matter of opinion, and I think these could all be wrong. Last season they did have a good FA Cup win. They knocked out Chester Celsius and they took Gateshead to a replay. They do have a lot of potential to stay up this season. They are a good team. Just depends how their season goes. So right, on to 20th place now. We've got newly promoted Marine. They got promoted last season from the NPL West Division after beating Runcorn Linnets 2-1. The reason for this, why I think they're going to go down, because their record at step 3 in the NPL isn't very good. The one time they survived, the next time they went down. That's why I think they might struggle. Could be wrong again though. I know this season they've installed a 3G pitch. I wasn't going to go Marine because the local place called Crosby. But I'm going to Glasgow that day, so I can't go, which is a shame. I'll have to listen to on the radio. So they have lost one of the best players, Neil Kegney, to Macclesfield. That's a massive loss for them. However, they have signed some great players, so I don't know what the other players are called though. Let's move on now to 90th place, the final relegation spot. I've got Aston United. They have brought in some good signs and could finish higher this season, but I just didn't know where they were going to finish. Whether it be a usual season for them, which I think it will be the usual season. You always tend to finish in the bottom half, but they could push up to mid-table depending on how the season goes. But I just think 19th. They have signed Callum Saunders, the top scorer, 5th or 6th highest scorer in the league, who played for Witham. But when they went down, he just went because he's not step 4. He is step 4 core. He's just too good for step 3. He's very good. Stafford, we could have possibly gone for him this season, and we didn't. He will be one of the big players to save them this season. And maybe Ben Hardcastle's a good one at there as well. And Michael Brewster's a good one as well. Right on to 18th place now. I reckon Hyde United. I reckon they will survive. They had Jim Gannon sacked last season as he took over for Stockport County manager and and we've been replaced with Nick Spooner. So I think he needs a full season to get everything right. Really, he needs time. So I think key for this season will be staying up and then pushing on. I think it's going to be hard for him straight away to keep pushing at the table with the new manager in charge. But he has still got some decent players. Yes, they've lost some decent players along. They Bay Jones and Jack Sherritt, 2 former Rangers players. But they have still got good players like the originals, Tom Pratt, Brad Roscoe, Ooch and Tung. Might be a few other good ones as well. So right on 17th place now. We've got new promoted Balper from the Midlands NPL Midlands divisions after they beat Chase Town in the playoff final. Well, no, I did go to that. It's a pretty boring game, but Balper was slightly a little bit better though. I was hoping to go there this season. Nice time. It's on the way through to Matlock as well as I passed it through last season when we went to Matlock. Funny, looking at the players, Carl Dixon has signed a new contract, one of the top players. I don't really know much about their players, but I've done a bit of research on them all. They've signed a few decent players like Luke Mancan from Stocksbridge, Harry Middleton from Cleethorpes, Ben Middleton again from Cleethorpes, must be brothers or something, and a striker from Burton Albion called Tom That's good experience to have some Football League player on loan at your club. They could be higher. I think they'll be alright though this season. So 17th. Right, we'll move on to 16th place now. We'll move on to Everton Collieries. Last season they did survive. Personally, this season I think they'll be perfectly fine. So they'll be perfectly fine. If they're 19th last season, 5 points off the drop zone, I think they can put up 3 more places this season. I think staying up and pushing higher will be a really good season for them. Daniel Lafferty and Matty Gilliam were the best ones last season, and they will be able to get it up. Maybe Cassini maybe as well. I think Gilliam was the one who scored away at Stafford Rangers last season when we played them, and Danny Lafferty scored a pen when we played at Everton last season. 2 players that scored against us. So I think they'll be alright. Right, to 15th place now, we've got Gainsborough Trinity. I think they signed quite a few good players and decent players, so I think they won't be going anywhere. They might finish in the bottom half, but they won't go down though. Tom Shaw left, he did, some young manager. I spoke to one Gainsborough saying he wasn't very good though, but they've got 2 joint managers now, Damien Parkinson and Neil Bishop, and Neil Bishop can play as well, so he can be a player manager. Apparently, former staff players Kieran Keane and Bradley Grayson are still there. I thought Kieran Keane was quite good when he was at Rangers, and I thought Bradley Grayson was good as well. If it weren't for his goals and the Chelsea goal, we would have definitely gone down. But that wouldn't have mattered anyway because we got saved by COVID. So, and also about the rest of the players, but I've got a little bit of information about it, so I think they'll be alright. 15th. Right to 14th. Now the 14th, Stadibridge Celtic. I think they'll be alright again this season. Bottom half finish between mid-table and lower mid-table, so around 14th basically. That'll be an okay season for them. They've signed a few decent players. I don't know what they're all called though, but I know they have signed a few decent ones, and they have signed former Stafford player Ben Woods, who was with us last season. He used to play for Stadibridge before he joined Stafford last season, so it's like kind of the return of Ben Woods to Stadibridge Celtic. Can't really comment on all the signings. I haven't really done much research on it. I couldn't find many of theirs, but all I know is that they made some good signings. Right, on to 13th place now. We've got newly promoted Warrington Rylands from the NPL West Division, the same league that Marine came up in, and they won the league. Apparently their owner is actually spending quite a lot of money, but I hope it's not another Saul Lane incoming. Warrington Rylands is just a bit like Hanley. No, I'm not sure Warrington Rylands, to be honest, or Hanley. where you can spend all this money and then it can all go wrong for you. Your owner can run out of money, and you can. Saw Lane Aquaforce, he didn't go bust. Their owner, the owner ran out of money, so the club went out of existence. He said he couldn't possibly run the club any longer due to the lack of money he had got. He ran out. He invested heavily, and he just hadn't got any money left, really. That's why the club really shut down, really. But then we got on to Warrington Rylands on basically the players he signed. The player for last season, Kane Drummond, scored 17 goals for them last season. He's extended his contract, plenty of experience there. There might one that surprise you here, but there's someone called Kevin Ellison who played for Newport County last season. He's now 43 and he's signed for Warrington Rylands. There must be some deal in that contract. No way he's going to play every game. It must be a player manager. It's not a player manager. I don't know how that's going to work out. Apparently he's played for Leicester, Hull, Rotherham and just mentioned Newport County. He's an ex-Football League player. They signed Jordan Musto, a defender from Wigan Athletic. He's also played in Romania, Sweden and Belgium, and he signed a few other good players as well. They could finish higher with the amount they spent, but I think 13th will be a decent season for them. 12th place now, we got Morpup. Last season they finished 10th. They score a lot of goals, Morpup. Their top scorer, Andre Johnson, with 20 plus goals, but he's out for 6 months with a shoulder injury, so he'll be out for 6 months, massive off. But they got options in Liam Henderson, Liam Noble, Chris Reed and Jack Fallow, and they've got a couple of signs put in, don't know much about them. Well, I saw Morpup last season. They're a very dirty team. Against us, they were cheating all the time. Away at Marston Road, they were cheating, and they blamed it, and for that they're cheating. They blamed the pitch on us. And away at Morpup, when our goal went in, literally, their one player literally went right into the linesman's face, or was it the referee went right into their face complaining about it. They're such a dirty side, they are, Morpup. It's not Stafford's not the only one that's going on about it. Even York City, when they played in the FA Cup, said about it. In the meantime, I think it'll be. They'll finish 2 places. They won't be anywhere near like the bottom half, but they'll finish 2 places below what he did last season, though. So right on to 11th place now. We've got Nantwist Town. Last season, the season wasn't as good for them as they finished lower mid-table. When I watched them, I couldn't believe where they were there. So Nantwist will be hoping to finish higher this season. So I think 11th will be a great season for them. They signed some really good players, so they could possibly do well this season and plus higher. They have signed some great players. Joe Robbins on a permanent after he was on loan with them last season. Joel Grant, who has played for Watford, Aldershot, Crewe, Wickham, Yeovil, Exeter, Plymouth, Swindon and Grimsby is a striker. He's got a lot of experience, and they signed Jack Serrett from Hyde, who is a former Stafford Rangers player as well. I'd love him to come back, but he won't come back. They've got AJ Leet Smith from Altrincham, a forward player. And Richie Sutton, apparently he used to play for us. Apparently Richie Sutton, he's quite old now, about 36. But he played for Nantwist 12 years ago. He's returned now. He got experience of playing at Port Vale, Crewe, Mansfield, Tranmere and Morecambe. So I think a lot of experience there. I think they'll do alright. I think mid-table. Right, 10th place now. We've got Lancaster City. 10th or 11th was a tough one for me, but I changed it. Lancaster 10th and that was 11th. Last season he had a mid-table finish under their manager Mark Fowle. They have decent players like Sam Bailey, Charlie Bailey and Reece Turner. They are still there. They had a player called Enoch Lickey last season who scored against us. I think he's still there. Lancaster ended up 16 and beaten in 16 games run they did. But they have signed someone called Paul Jarvis with a third spell at Lancaster. He's played at Chorley and AFC Fylde. He plays a winger and could also play as a fullback and midfielder, a bit of everything really. And they signed goalkeeper Jordan Eastham on a short-term loan from Blackburn Rovers. He is a goalkeeper. and Callum Gallagher, former Man United and Burnley player who plays as a defender. Decent players, possibly a few others as well. Right, on to 9th place. Now we've got Radcliffe. They've done a lot of business this season. When they finished in bottom half last season, they were scoring loads of goals still. We're probably Grant as player manager, a striker. He scored about 15 plus goals last season. So with that, they should score more. Apparently, they signed some very good players. They signed Nicky Adams, apparently, a midfielder from Oldham Athletic. He's played in Championship, League 1, League 2. Played for clubs such as Rochdale, Bury, Bolton, and an ex-Wales international player. And he signed someone called Ben Riddle, an 18-year-old from Salford City, and plays as a right back. And someone called Davis Fitzpatrick, a 32-year-old from National League North side, Chester, who has played at Port Vale, Macclesfield, Southport, and Altrincham. In his career, he's played for the England Seas team, had appearances at different youth sides in Czech Republic, Hungary, and Slovakia. He signed someone called Jem Karasan, a 33-year-old midfielder who's played with Scunthorpe United, Reading, Millwall, Bolton, Galatasaray, Bursaspor, Turkey, also Central Coast Mariners in Australia. He's played in the Premier League and he's also played in the Champions League. Lots of experience there. Someone called Kane Mills and a Bermudan 18-year-old winger who's from Bermuda and are featured in CAF. Is that African Cup of Nations? I'm not quite sure. They're under 20 tournaments, and they signed someone called Zakar Lee, a 20-year-old defender who is also from Bermuda. Rick Smith, a 20-year-old centre-back from Warrington Town. Dominic McHow, a forward from National League North side, Telford United, who has spent 2 seasons playing in the Midlands. He's also played in the North West, Manchester City, Salford City, Oldham Athletic, Hyde, Aston United, and FC United. So he's played a lot of these players he got here, played for a lot of clubs and got lots of experience. They could possibly finish high. Right, to 8th place now we've got Bamber Bridge. They had a good season last season, but when it went away there at their ground, they were awful. They were a write-off day. Even when we played to a home and we lost 2-1 to them, they didn't deserve to win. They've mostly got the same team from last season. They haven't signed too many players, but they have got most of the current players there. And some that are committed to the club for this season. Signed a couple of signs that have been brought in. Felix Goddard in on loan from Blackburn Rovers. David Perkins, the experienced midfielder, has played at Barnsley, Blackpool, Wigan, a few other clubs too. Luke Daly from Mansfield, Matlock, an attacking midfielder. So I think they'll have a decent season again. So I think they'll finish in the top 10. So right, to 7th now, we've got FC United. Last season, 50-50 were won because they started off poorly, then brought it back at the end, but it was too late for them to finish in the playoffs. Well, they have got Linney to score goals and Ennis there still. They are also signed Max McCarthy from Stoke, and he played with us on a 1-month loan spell Stafford Rangers last season, and someone called Guy Hull, a pace left back, had signed as well. Not sure about the rest of their signings. They'll be alright this season, but I think a few other teams are slightly better than them though. Right, 6th now, we've got Whitby Town. They've lost Jacob Maisler, the top scorer with 25 goals last season, but he wanted to join National League Northside Darlingtons. He wanted to challenge himself at a higher level. You got a higher level, more money, more challenge, may as well go for it. I still think they'll have a great season though. They've still got decent players. Marcus Charles and Bradley Fewster, also a few others too. They signed a couple of other good players. Luke Hogg, a midfielder from Osset United, subject to FA approval. It might be due to his wages, something that they have to approve that signing. He's also played at Guysey Grant from an Osset United. They signed called Kevin Taran Gazzo, a centre-back from Liversedge, who has also played at Brigas Town, Yorkshire Amateur and Witton Albion. Nicky Walker, a winger from Liverpool, who was a part of their promotion last season. He played at different clubs at Rotherham United, Wycombe, Boston, Bradford Park Avenue, Buxton, Shaw Lane, Gainsborough and Alfreton. Some great signs there, and they have retained a few of their players from last season as well. So right, to Stafford Rangers now, my team. I put us in 5th this season for the playoffs. I think we'll go for it. Last season we had one of our best seasons in the NPL compared to the last few seasons. Draws and not many home wins cost us last season, but away record was excellent though. A few weeks or a month after our Stafford Cup final, a few of our players left. Yes, we lost a few players along the way, but we replaced them. The ones that left were Jake Charles, Ben Woods, James O'Neill, Tree Pemberton, Alex Fletcher, Josh Endel and Tom Carr. But we've retained Tyrrell Balford, Ethan Stewart, Andy Burns, Ben Forrest, Alex Ray Arby, Tom Tonks, Kieran Anderson, Theo Bay Jones and Joe Kenton. And we've offered them new contracts for the season. To replace two of the players that went, we signed a lot of good players. Cameron Balford, a goalkeeper from Radcliffe, Louis Morrison on a permanent that he brought back from Macclesfield, who can play in defence. Originally, he signed for us, then went to Macclesfield, came back from Macclesfield on loan to us, now he signed again. He said he loves to play. He said what he really loves to play at this club, he does. We signed Joden, a centre-back from Rochdale, who we had on loan with us last season. Joe Willis, a midfielder from Walsall, had a loan spell in Leamington, Salisbury and Bromsgrove Sporting. Jack Baxter, a midfielder from Preston, who's been on loan with Chorley, Cork and Radcliffe. Radcliffe last season, I think he played against us when he was on loan with Radcliffe. We signed Jaden White, a forwarder from Kidderminster. He played with us on loan in 2019, he did. In the season we were bottom. And we signed Ryan G. Malvin, an 18-year-old forwarder from Stoke. We had him last season on loan, but he went back after he broke his foot. Delighted to see him back. Yesterday we signed Basanka, a forwarder from South Seals on loan until 2nd of January. He's been at both Manchester clubs. And Burnley, Chorley, Dover, Wrexham and York. Massive that he managed to snap him up. And a striker at last. We signed Adam Livingstone, a 24-year-old defender, midfielder, and a midfielder from Clyde, who's also played for Motherwell as well. And we signed Chris Clement, 32-year-old midfielder from Cheltenham. He's played for Hensford before he started his Football League career. Then he played at Mansfield, Grimsby, Forest Green, Swindon and Nuneaton. I signed somebody else called Alex Kiwoma, a 26-year-old striker from Macclesfield. He started his youth career at Chelsea and has played at Barnsley. He played at Barnsley, Fleetwood, Crewe, Doncaster, Chesterfield, Chorley and Kings Lynn. And we've also signed Nathan Kane, a 19-year-old prospect striker from Mansfield who had loan spells at Nuneaton, Ilkeston and Sutton Coldfield. We also signed a young keeper, Aidan Jeans, a 21-year-old keeper. I think he came with us again at the academy somewhere or something. So I think we'll have a good season go for it this season. It's right to 4th place now. We've got Matlock. They had a good season last year as they were top, but in the end blew it away and they ended up 4th. This year they're probably going to go one step further. Yes, they lost Liam Hughes, their captain, and Ross Hannah to different clubs, but they've still got other players to have decided to commit their future to a club. Like Callum Tippindale, I think he's committed his future to the club. They've signed Jake Day, formerly at Scarborough, 23-year-old keeper Jim Pollard from Grantham, who went down last season, 28-year-old Simon Ligingham from Radcliffe, 29-year-old forward at Callum Murphy, and 20-year-old midfielder Lee Whelan, both are from Chesterfield. They've also signed 22-year-old Jordan Barnett, 30-year-old Italian centre-back Nico Di Girolamo from Warrington Town, 24-year-old striker Jerome Slew. I don't know where he's come from though. I think they'll have an okay season, 4th place again. 3rd now, we've got Warrington Town. One of the teams that will definitely be up there this season, as in the usual teams will be up there. They've still got the usual Josh Harris, Brian Dixon, Mitch Duggan and Luke Duffy. The usual attacking players are still there. To strengthen their squad, Warrington have brought in Isaac Buckley Ricketts on a permanent deal, who was on loan with them last season. A brand new key goalkeeper from Altrincham called Tony Thompson. Tom Hannigan, an experienced centre-back from Altrincham again. 2 players from Altrincham for them. Attacking midfielder Oliver Putnam. Andy White, a full-back from Altrincham, and Josh Siri, a defender from Preston. A lot of extra depth at Warrington for this season. Right, to second place now. A lot of people have argued this, but I put Guiseley in second. They got relegated from the National League North last season, so I think they won't go up automatically, but they'll definitely fight to go up by the playoffs. They signed Danny Ellis as their top man for them. He gets on a new contract. I don't know much about the players, but this is just what I've summed up here. Johnny Hass from York City on loan. Charlie Wood on loan from Bradford City. 20-year-old Ethan Vaughan, who's represented Wales under-19s and played for two under-23 sides, Norwich and Burnley. Donald Mallow, a midfielder that's played for Barnsley and York. Scott Maloney, a goalkeeper on loan from AFC Barrow. Nat Crofts, a 24-year-old winger. George Sikoro, a 20-year-old experienced central defender who's played at Spennymoor, FC United, Oslo United, and he signed loads more they've signed as well. Right to top now, we've got South Seals. This was a very controversial one. If they don't win the league, I think they'll go up by the playoffs. This season they'll be looking to finally win it this year in the Conference in their first full season in charge. South Seals have still got their good players like Miles Boney, Robert Briggs, Will Cohen, Sam Hodgson, Cedric Bain, JJ Hooper and Darius Osei. They strengthened the squad by signing Mackenzie Heaney, midfielder Martin Smith, Martin Poole, Michael Woods, experienced defender Gary Liddell, Dylan Motley Henry, who's from Bradford Park Avenue, Josh Doherty, who's played with Watford and Crawley, defender Tom Broadbent, who's played for Swindon and Bristol Rovers, striker Lewis Alexander signs, who has a lot of Football League experience, and midfielder Connor Newton is latest to sign. So it's going to be a long season and anything could happen. So I hope you all enjoyed my predictions in this video today. I have done it on quite a hot day, so I might not have been doing it as quick as I possibly could. But thank you for watching today, guys. I mean, they might be all wrong, but that's just my personal thoughts. So if you do enjoy the video today, do get a like, do subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications every time I make a video. I'll see you in the next one, guys. See you all later. Bye, everyone.